disinterest is usually going to come as a gradual incline or a gradual decline. So therefore, it's a lot easier to see. The reason why it's important to maybe kind of figure out which one it is because then you can adjust. Just fuck the girl. Once you fuck the girl, then the game kind of changes. Hey guys, Hector Castillo, Poppy from girlschase.com. Here to talk to you about the 4 reasons why she is pulling back. So we're going to be discussing a situation where she was interested, she's responding to your texts, maybe she did go on a date with you, or seems excited to be, but then somewhere after that first date, before the first date, or even as you're sleeping with her before the point of a relationship, or even in a relationship, but relationships would be a little bit more complicated of a topic. I mean, let's keep it within just the seductive context, or the pre-relationship context where you guys maybe are dating, but you're not like official. So the 4 reasons why she's going to be pulling back and, well, you know what the fuck I mean. I don't have to explain what you mean by pulling back. She's not as affectionate as she was. Okay, so disinterest, she's doing it tactically, she's doing it for ego reasons, or it's another man. So I'm going to talk to you about how you might see the particular signs of each one. They could all be happening possibly together. Like this one can cause this one or this one actually. The ego thing can lead to disinterest. They're not mutually exclusive, but what you're looking for is the main culprit. Who is the primary culprit for why she's pulling back? So let's start with just genuine disinterest. So you're gonna see genuine disinterest being the reason she's pulling back, because either, now we are going to be doing a lot of like, because they're all intertwined and codependent, okay? But in general, if it's just pure disinterest, you're giving too much affection or too little, right? So you guys are talking over text, and at first she's giving you a lot of, she's texting very lengthy, she was responding fast, lots of emojis, she seems excited to be on a date, and then it starts to die down. Now, if it's disinterest that is causing it, it's because she was giving all of that, and then you reciprocate and then go way too much in the extreme. You're matching her affection and then going too far. You're replying even faster with more emotions, and you seem too excited. Now, is this related to an ego problem? Yes, but the ego is not the main culprit. She's seeing that maybe you're not good enough for her, so her ego's like, okay, well, this guy he was cool and he is hot, but you know what? I'm starting to see that maybe I'm higher value than him. The way that we see value is always in relative. So you only can see value relative to someone else's. There really isn't a such thing as like true high value. You only understand your value relative to the girl you're talking to, and her relative to you. So she's giving you these emotions, you're not giving enough back, so then she's gonna see too little, and she's gonna start to come to the conclusion that you are not as interested, and so therefore maybe you have higher value. Now, it's much more complex than that, but at the end of the day, that's really what it's gonna come down to. Now, so you're either giving her too much affection, too much attention, and too much effort. You're sitting on there texting her all day, all night, and it becomes a very steady decline, okay? That's when you're gonna know it's just pure disinterest. She was super interested, you start to give too much back, and then you just see a steady decline. She's responding less affectionately, and then it dies. When you see a spiky decline or a spiky incline, that's when you're having situations of tactical and ego, which we'll get to in a second. But if you're seeing disinterest is usually gonna come as a gradual incline or a gradual decline, so therefore it's a lot easier to see. So you start to give her a lot of affection, then you see her pulling back, then you need to go, oh, okay, I need to pull back as well. And you need to do your own tactical retreat and your own tactical pullback, okay? But then if you see her disinterest start to die because maybe she's giving you a bunch of affection and then you're not giving her any, and then you see her interest starting to decline as well, then what's gonna be happening is her disinterest is going to come from too little affection of yours, which is then gonna cause an ego problem, which she's gonna see, okay, I'm putting all this interest in a guy and he's not giving it back, and then her ego is gonna kick in and say, I need to pull back from him emotionally because I'm giving too much of myself and I'm losing my sense of self-respect because I'm throwing myself at this guy who isn't interested. Now, whether you are or aren't, you could be playing a game and showing too little interest, but the only way she can read that is you're not interested, right? We never know what's going on in the other person's head. But what's gonna happen is that ego is gonna turn into genuine disinterest, but it actually started as simply, it seems like, okay, he's not that. So you see how they're very, very intertwined, but the causality is coming from the gradual disinterest of you, and then it's gonna trip up these other things. You see how they're codependent with each other? I know that was a bit complicated, but I hope you followed that. Okay, so the next reason why she's gonna be pulling back is tactical. So usually a tactical retreat of her emotions and her not being as interested, you're gonna see it in spikes, okay? You're gonna see it as a very, very quick, either in the good side where she's going to see that you're pulling back, right? And so she's gonna jump after you, right? Because, oh my God, is he pulling back? I need to show more affection. But of course, this video is about she's pulling back emotions. So what you're gonna see is a very steady decline, like a very quick, spiky decline. So all of a sudden, maybe she's giving you a decent amount of affection, and then you're starting to maybe play cool because you're doing your own tactical bullshit where, okay, I'll reply slower, like I got this girl, she really likes me, been here a dozen times, I think I'm a cool guy. Yeah, I'm gonna respond less, I'm gonna respond late, and then all of a sudden, boom, she goes down. Now, whether she's doing it for, you're gonna see the same thing with these two, tactical and ego motivations for her pulling back her interest. You're never really gonna know which one it is because they both had the same signal, just spiky incline or spiky decline. But the tactical is gonna happen in her head because she's saying, okay, I need to pull back emotions because I don't wanna seem like I'm not that interested. It's not that she actually is disinterested, it's just she is because she's pulling back. Now, to know if it's tactical or ego, you have to have a lot of experience with women. You have to know, okay, what was her affection before? What might have caused it? How's her self-esteem? What kind of guys does she go after? How did my behavior possibly trip up her ego? And so you're gonna see the same signal if her reason for pulling back is ego, where she's going to see you're not giving a lot of affection and she's going to just immediately start pulling back emotions, whether it means just not texting you back or not seeing you as much if you are dating. Or what's gonna happen is you're going to be giving her too much, so her ego is gonna say, well, this guy is a lame, he's a loser, he's a simp, whatever it is that's going on in her mind, and she's gonna be like, huh, I'm too good for that guy, huh? I need boys who I have to chase after, whatever it is, right? But you're gonna see the same behavior between tactical and ego. You're not gonna know exactly what it was until you're very experienced with women and you can kind of get in their head. But it's not really worth, unless you're looking for absolute mastery with women, it's not really worth trying to go into her mind and figure out what it is. All you need to know is that if you see a very spiky increase in affection, or in this case, a very spiky decrease in affection, it was one of these. It was some sort of tactical situation or an ego situation where she is just faking her disinterest. So she's pulling back, but she's not really pulling back. She's just doing it to play her game. Or she genuinely thought that you're not giving her enough, or you're giving her too much and you're a bitch. But this is kind of related to disinterest, but her ego is gonna cause her disinterest. Okay, now the last one, and the one that is usually the most impossible to figure out until she tells you later. So you're gonna go on a date with her, everything's fine, she seems to be texting you, your game seems to be okay, you didn't make any sudden changes, but at some point you see that she's kind of gradually declining, and the cause is because it was another man, and the way that you find out is because you text her and you're like, hey, I'd like to see you, da-da-da, and she says, hey, I gotta be honest, you've all gotten this text. Hey, so I just wanted to tell you I started talking to my ex again, or hey, I just wanted to tell you, we can meet for a coffee or something, but I kind of been seeing this guy and it's kind of serious. Or she's gonna say, hey, I've been seeing this guy and it's kind of getting serious and I just don't think it would be appropriate to meet with you because I'm really starting to like him, whatever. You're only gonna learn afterwards because she kind of confesses to you. Now, all of that being said, the reason why it's important to maybe kind of figure out which one it is because then you can adjust. If you were just generally having bad game, you can fix that because it's a gradual decline. If you see a spiky decrease in her interest, she just pulls back immediately, it's probably one of these two. It could be this, but again, it's very hard to tell. But it's usually one of these. She's just faking her disinterest or some sort of ego thing is going on. Then you have to give a spiky decrease in return. So she's pulling back like, whoop, okay, for let's say tactical, she's kind of just, she realizes she liked you too much, right? And she's giving too much affection. And you see her pull back really fast. So it goes whoop. Okay, what you're gonna do is you're also gonna go whoop. And then this is gonna balance them, and then she's gonna have a decision. Right? This is whose frame is stronger. She's gonna have a decision. She's either gonna like, if she's really good, right? She's tactically kind of like, kind of give some more affection, less affection, maybe see you 1 time a week instead of 2, maybe text you a little half as often, whatever. Or you're gonna see ego fluctuations. Ego fluctuations are much more telling because it's gonna be like, whew, 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 right? Because one day she's gonna be confident, I'm such a bad bitch, I'm so hot, all these guys want me, oh my God, Tinder's just blowing up, right? And then there's gonna be a day where maybe she's not feeling as confident about herself, and then boom, she's texting you a bunch. And you also, or it is, see, this is complicated, but actually not. That's an ego situation. It's a tactical situation if you can start to see cracks in her game. So, like there was this girl I was dating and she was toxic as fuck and I cut her off. But what I noticed is that she was all about tactical stuff. She was all about playing the games, but she was so fucking obvious about it, right? She would be posting stories on her Instagram and I'm like, I know what you're doing. You know, I don't blame her for what she did and I don't have any hard feelings towards her, but I just didn't really like her behavior. It came off as petty. And what I noticed is that she would be posting like Instagram stories that are related to like relationships and like, oh, I'm such a bad bitch. But then I would see contradictory to that, oh, I'm so cool, like social behavior. She would then text me really affectionate stuff. And I'm like, I see that you're doing tactical stuff for ego reasons, but I can see through the cracks in your frame because there's a mismatch of behaviors, okay? And so if I had really wanted to like fix that, what I would have, or like fix it as in get her back to where it was, well, at that point, I just had to kind of get in a relationship with her, and that's wasn't what I was feeling for various reasons. She's a great girl and I wish her the best, but what I needed to do if I wanted to get her back is I needed to slowly give more and more investment, which I didn't want to do. And because I didn't, I started to see these very increased fluctuations. She'd be super affectionate and then I give affection and she'd go like this. And I'm like, okay, I know you're totally playing this game, right? But if I had really wanted to get her like back to the situation where we're back to like seeing each other consistently, I would have to like slowly ramp it up, because if I'm doing too much of the fluctuations, then it's really fucking toxic and hard to keep track of. But she's going like this and I just slowly start giving more and more affection, and then her swings are gonna have to meet mine, right? And then at some point, there's a cutoff point where you're just trying too hard and a girl's too, let me say this, all of this complicated discussion, if it gets too fucking complicated and it's in and out and in and out, and you're texting her and not texting her and you gotta play cold and that's unhealthy and you should get out of that, okay? But if you are interested in finding out why she pulled back, look at the spikes or the declines in behavior, and if they're very quick or if they're or if they're gradual. And then if it's another man, to be honest, especially if you haven't fucked her yet, if another guy comes in, the reason why you lost her is you didn't fuck her, right? And so that's why not fucking her yet and then the seduction process and then casually fucking her are two completely different games, and then actual relationship game is a totally another level of like how you need to interact with her. But at the end of the day, it's very simple. If you don't fuck her, all of this is kind of just way too complicated and way too specific, okay? Just fuck the girl. Once you fuck the girl, then the game kind of changes and you have, because you've gone inside and you're now in the 1% of men in the world who have fucked her. Even if she's a slut, right? You're still in the 1%. So smash, fuck her pussy, and you won't have to worry about all this. And if it's too complicated to get her to the point where you're smashing, again, it might not just be worth the effort. But if you're in a situation where you like a girl and she's pulling back, pay attention to these signals and figure out what it is, and then give the appropriate opposite response. If it's gradual decline, give a gradual increase. If it's a very spiky thing, you need to spike as well, and then play the in and out dancing game that we call game. It's mostly toxic, but sometimes you gotta play the game. Okay, so that's the video. Hope you enjoyed it. If you're looking for a much more simple process by which to take her from point A to point B, I meet the girl, talk to her, take her out on a date, fuck her, turn into a girlfriend. Check out One Date in the description below. It'll give you, the reason a process is good is because you bypass a lot of this bullshit and you just take a girl and you say, okay, I'm texting you, I'll play the game a little bit, take you on a date, do my best to fuck you, and if it doesn't happen on the first date usually, to be honest, it's really not worth that much effort, and you shouldn't even have to be playing this game. And by having this process, you just take the girl and you run her through that process, and then you're like, nope, take another girl, nope, take another girl, nope. And it's so much more simple. You have a macro process that defeats the complications of this macro, like, in and out bullshit. And by having that big macro process, you're gonna have a much more healthy dating life, and you're gonna have a bird's eye view of things, and so you're gonna be a little bit more emotionally detached, and not as, your heart's not gonna get pulled with all this fucking toxic bullshit. So check that out, description below, One Date, great product. Cool. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hector Castillo, poppygirlchase.com. Like, subscribe, ring the bell, follow me on Instagram, and go fuck yourself. When you shit, okay, when you shit the bed and you fuck up the seduction. No, you're never really, so, or it would be like this. Okay,